So Donna's work, I'll just give a little introduction just to give us a sense of what Donna's work's about as an artist. So Donna works with painting, drawing and film. She explores the fragility of the human condition in her works, creating disintegrating figurative forms with acrylic paint, biro pen, oil pastels and ink. Her work was recently included in the online exhibition Another Space Within, which was an outside-in digital exhibition. And also she's been part of Recollections May Vary, which is an exhibition from the Outside In project at the Mental Health Museum in Wakefield. So I'll hand over to Donna to explain more about her work.
Hello. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, so I can hear you, Donna. You just let me know when you'd like me to move on your slides, Donna, okay?
Okay, yeah. Basically, my work that I'm going to talk about today is just my drawing. And most of my drawings, well, all of them, are about my own experiences with anxiety and depression. And in recent years, I've made work about the pandemic and how that's affected people. And I use mostly ballpoint pens and graphite and a bit of oil stick and sometimes other mediums as well. And this particular drawing is, it was made with ballpoint pens and graphite on a piece of a canvas bag from Lidl that I cut up. It's about how during lockdowns in the pandemic, people have used shopping a lot, whether online or in person, to cope. And I personally missed going to the shop. So whenever I was able to go to the shop and got a bag, whether it was a canvas bag or a paper bag, I started using them for my drawings. This is the first one that I did. I haven't done a lot of them, but this is the first one. Can't remember what it's called. But yeah, this is what that's about. If you could go on to the next slide, please. This one is another one about the pandemic. It's about how it's called. I can't remember what it's called. I can never remember the name of my work, which is really bad. But yeah, it's basically about being silenced when you're not feeling well, and you just you're feeling very intense emotions that you want to scream, but you can't for whatever reason. And the black box is charcoal, and that's to signify covering up the mouth to stop yourself from screaming. The rest of it is done in graphite, and I use a kind of scribbling technique to do the drawings. They're all figurative. They're all like kind of portraits, but very abstracted. I think you can just about see that it's a face. Next slide, please. This is an earlier one. And I remember this one's called Apathy. And this is ballpoint pen. And the white bit is where I've torn off layers of the paper and the drawing. I've done the drawing and then torn off bits of it to show the kind of almost like brain fog that you get when you're not mentally well. That's kind of depicting that, and you can just about see facial features in there. I use blue a lot. I don't know why. I'm just very drawn to blue. I think it shows the drawing technique very well. Next slide, please. This is my most recent drawing, which is very different to my usual drawing. It's part of the exhibition with Outside In and the Mental Health Museum. It's actually monoprinting onto brown paper bags, the bags that I mentioned earlier that I would get from the shop. And it's actually a folded up dress. It's in the shape of the dress. It's a drawing of a dress that's been folded up and put into the drawer. And it acts as a type of fake artifact that the museum has put into their collection. Some of the words are deliberately not legible, and some of them you can just about make out. Yeah, next slide, please. This is another piece that was done on something that I just picked up while out shopping. It's where these days you can buy masks, face masks, just about everywhere, even in fashion shops. And this one, I got it from Primark. I think there were 2 or 3 on it, and yeah, I really like the way the ballpoint pen looks against the cardboard. And it's about how wearing masks has become so common, and it's become so part of life now that you can find these things and packaging everywhere, and you can just about make out the little face wearing the mask to show you how to wear it well. Yeah, next slide, please. This one is another one about the pandemic, where it's called Everything is Different Now, which is another one about how wearing face masks has become just part of everyday life now. Not so much now because people have decided they're not going to wear them, but it's, yeah, and it's this one's ballpoint pen, and the mask is actually where I've torn off the drawing. I've torn layers off the paper to make the shape of the mask. I like using red. Red is a very intense colour to use with the biro. It's the ink in biros are very different to any other ink. When you use it in layers, it changes the colour and the surface of the paper a lot, and it's a really nice material to work with. Yeah, next slide, please. This one is probably one of my most intense drawings. It's ballpoint pen, but it has oil stick on top of it as well, where the mask is. This one is about how people became so angry about having to wear masks during the pandemic, and a lot of conflict has come up about people not wearing masks to save other people's lives as well as their own lives. And I wanted to really show the intensity of people's emotions about this one small thing that was helping people to survive this thing. It's it's one of my favorite drawings. I think it's one of my best drawings. Yeah. Oh, that's an interesting comment. So reading the comment there, just yeah, it's yeah, very proud of this one. Yeah, next slide, please, if there is one. Yeah, this one is, I think I did this one in 2015, maybe. This one is called The Dark, and I drew it when I was going through a very difficult time with my mental health, and I became scared of the dark. And this is when I started using ballpoint pens a lot in my work, as well as adding other mediums like paint. It's a ballpoint pen with a bit of acrylic paint on top. And this drawing really changed my practice a lot, because before that I was doing just painting. I just wanted to paint. But after this, I decided to kind of change and just do drawing, because I felt like it was stronger than my paintings. Yeah. Is there another drawing?
I think we might have skipped one a bit earlier. Is it that one?
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah. This one is called Chaotic Mind. It's about how sometimes my mind can be very busy, and I can't focus very well. It's graphite with the blue dots are Posca pen, and the white dots are where I've torn off the layers of the drawing. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
So IJE was asking how big is this, and that was for the previous image.
I think that one is A3. This one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this one.
Yeah, I
this
think
one.
so.
I think that one's A4 actually. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Tom Stimpson was asking, thank you, stunning work. How do you feel after you finished your work?
A lot of the work is, I find it very therapeutic making the work. And then it's also very cathartic, because a lot of it is about my own experiences. And so, yeah, I get a lot out of doing the drawing. So it's kind of, I do feel good after. I feel better, especially if I have made work when I've been not feeling well. And then it's like meditating. It helps me to get through it.
It's a beautiful lightness of touch, Donna, with your work. I love the way that you build up things with this intensity, but it's also very sort of light, and it's something really quite magical about how you kind of make those marks.
Thank you. I saw someone asked about sharing personal work. All of my work is very personal. My most recent work is about pandemic, obviously, which is not just about me, my experiences, but I find it, as I said, very cathartic, and it's a good way for me to almost talk about things that maybe don't get to talk about much. So I like people to see the work and, ask me about it. And sometimes people will see they'll find things in my work that they can relate to. They can understand what it's about, because they may be been through the same thing, or they're just, they can understand. So that makes me feel good.
Well, it's really lovely to hear about your work, Donna. I haven't met you before, and so it's really interesting to hear all about, you know, how you've made your work, and to see, because I sort of saw your kind of work for the imagery, putting it on the PowerPoint, and then, you know, to hear about how you talking about it and just unfolding some of what goes into the work is been fascinating.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for presenting today.